Hey, everybody, thanks for joining Jenny and me. We're doing a very special little session today to kind of wrap up the year and put a bow on it for you, which we're super excited about. It's called 7 Steps to Fine-Tune Your Focus, and it's going to be really fun because first, Jenny is like my favorite person to co-facilitate with on the planet, so we're going to have a great day. But there might be 2 or 3 people, Jenny, who've never been on a call before that have never met you. Can you tell them who you are and a little bit about your business and stuff like that?
Well, hello. I see so many familiar faces. I'm so excited to share with you guys. You know, in typical James fashion, he's going to be the leader, and I just do what he says, and that is the best way to be. I am Jennie Wolek in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been in real estate for 22 years now. I've learned a lot. I've failed a lot, and I love sharing and all my lessons with you guys. So thanks for allowing me to do it. So let's go, James. We don't have a lot of time.
We don't. Jenny's got a great team in Tulsa and is a great friend. And when I was thinking about, I wanted to do something for our Pivot Shift Ahead community, our Inspire community. Jenny, you've got your Momentum community. I wanted to do something to just give back to all of you who have been invested in what we've been doing inside of our groups throughout the year. And I thought, here, let's do this. Let's strategize around 7 ways that we can fine-tune our focus at the end of the year, because we have some opportunities that kind of present themselves naturally this time of year that we don't have other times. And so we've put this into 2 pieces. The first part of what we're going to talk about is kind of year-end reflection. So now that we're at the end of the year, what can you do kind of year-end to reflect? And then as we get to the new year, what can you do for year-ahead preparation? So we have year-end reflection and year-ahead preparation. And I first want to thank Vicky Lukacic. Vicky, are you here?
I'm here.
Oh my gosh, I got to put you in the spotlight. Hold on one second.
You don't
You
have to.
love this. Vicky always loves this sort of thing, but let me add Vicky to the spotlight. So Vicky, who worked with Jenny and me to put all this together. So Vicky, thank you for your hard work on kind of helping us get our focus around these 7 ways to fine-tune our focus.
Of course. I'm happy to
We
help.
couldn't do it without you. Yeah, we couldn't do it without you. All right, so let's get after it. Jenny, we're going to break these into 4 pieces, and we'll just kind of chat through them and got some things. So there's 7 ways, and let me show you the first one. And I think what I love about this first way is it's ridiculously simple. The first way to fine-tune your focus is tackle the housekeeping stuff at the bottom of your to-do list. Do a little bit of housekeeping. This is the time of year that we do a little housekeeping because the smaller tasks that are important to us, they often kind of take a back seat during the year, especially as fourth quarter. We're all in, we're going to get after it, we're going to go take as many listings as we can and all that kind of stuff. We get busy and smaller tasks can take a back seat, but then they start to build up. I know some people say, Jenny, I know you've heard them say it, oh, I never take a breath, I'm always getting after it. But we do have this natural kind of slowdown to the year that begins over this next 2 weeks, that things shut down, people are closed. We've got this natural slowdown. Well, we can take advantage of that to tie up some loose ends and start the year on a fresh note. Tell me about, maybe how you do that or how you and your team look at that.
Yeah, of course, James mentioned most of the things. It's tidying up your stuff. What was left undone that you need to wrap up and get done so you can check that off the list? For me, it was just cleaning up my office, getting things organized. That helped my brain. It allowed me to, I also put in things. Now, this is a little off business topic, but I thought this was really important for us to remember. Guess what else I've done the past couple weeks and have the rest of the year? I have dentist appointments, eye appointments, doctor appointments, all of these things that get pushed off because I'm too busy to do those kind of things. So for me, James, I really thought through it was wrapping up any systems or tools, things that need to go into next year. And something I don't want us to forget, James, is that this is a great time to think. This is a great time to dream. James, you and I got to travel through Europe together, and I knocked a lot of things off my bucket list this past year.
Yeah.
And I needed to rebuild that bucket list because that motivates me to go get after it, to help more families, to stay engaged with my database and do the work. So please pencil in dreaming time, planning time, thinking time.
Thursday, I am cleaning out my section of the closet. Terry hasn't brought it up, but I can tell that it's important to her that I do that. And I'm the kind of person that sometimes I'm so busy, I'll just toss stuff in or whatever. My shoes are a hot mess. And I say, Thursday, it's reorganized the closet day. There is some satisfaction of,
Yes.
all right, I'm just going to go and tackle this thing, because what I thought about was the small to-dos do build up over time. We can take advantage of this little 2-week break to get after it. And I love time to think and reflect is really important. All right, now let's do a business thing we can do. So
Okay.
here's the next one. And I know you do this at the Wolek Group because I know how you think. And that is map out your content calendar. Kind of think about, what is it we want to be sending to our database? What is it we want to be talking about with our people? Like, what are the things that we want to do? And if we do it ahead of time, we aren't making it up as we go. My team and I have talked about this. We have transitioned from, we're a startup and making it up as we go, to we are a legit company that has systems and strategies and plans. And one thing we're doing is mapping out, here's what we're going to cover, here's what we're going to teach, here's what we're going to talk about. It allows us to streamline what we're doing. Jenny, I know you do this because you guys do so much on your social and stuff like that with the Wolek Group.
Well, see, now here's the thing is, so over the last year, I've actually been so blessed to have a team member. This is her focus, marketing and events and social media, that finally got Jenny out of the way. Because guess what never got done consistently when I was in charge? All that really important stuff. So now we have had this year of consistency. Well, we've already mapped out 2024. Now here's the thing. You can map it out in pencil. You can have a rough idea of when things are going to happen. You know the seasons, you know the events, you know the holidays, and just have some consistency with that. And then you can start inking it in as you are planning out. For us, we already have inked in on the calendar, invites set to team members for all of our first quarter activities. Now, the other piece to be mapping out, when you say content, people may get a little overwhelmed. I know I did, because that makes me think like I'm a social media master and I must have this content calendar. To me, it's just the message that you're going to share. So like if you have a Happy New Year survey or holiday message going out, what marketing, messaging, and methods do you have in place in all of those different areas? So we're not just marketing, we're also prospecting. So our prospecting matches the same message that our marketing is having going on as well.
Yeah, when I think of it, I think about, you could do this a quarter at a time if it's overwhelming for you. So we're Q4, so you could map out Q1. What's my client event going to be? Because we should do an event a quarter, whether it's a big one or small one. What's that event going to be? What are the touches going to be around that event? And here's what I've learned this year is that, and Vicky has helped a lot, and Grace and everyone who's on my team, we have kind of gotten into a swing of things now that 2024's mapping out will be a lot easier than 23's, because we have the foundation of 2023. So if it's overwhelming for you, just 2024 is your foundation year to kind of figure out what this looks like, and then you're working ahead. For example, we know what we're going to be doing inside of Pivot. Probably what, Vicky, are we through the first 2, almost 3 months of 2024?
Yep, just pretty much the first 2 I can say with
Yeah.
with
All right. So
confidence.
we've got, and those videos are recorded and done and ready to go, so we can build the content around them. And so then we aren't doing what we used to do a year ago, which is, oh my goodness, we need a call for Wednesday. So we do, many of you don't know, we do something inside of Pivot every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, some sort of keynote. We've laid those out in advance. So think about what it is, but recognize that you are, as you do it this year, you're laying the foundation for next year. Now, you just brought this up. You said do it in pencil. You say you don't have to do it in pen if it freaks you out. You can do it in pencil too. It's just as good. And that is a mindset check. This is number 3 of our 7. A mindset check, which is be flexible. Have a flexible attitude and approach to the year, because I don't know, have the last couple of years told us that it may not go as planned? Have a flexible mindset. You shared this and I shared it too. It was a post from Tony DeCello last week, where he said, quit talking about the real estate market, because we don't work in the real estate market. We work in the real estate business. And so we're going to set out goals. And I know everyone has big plans for 2024, and yet we need to be flexible. Jenny, I know you've been flexible this year.
I love that you just shared Tony DeCello's quote because, yeah, I mean, we still, though, as professionals, need to know what's happening in the market because that's when we need to be flexible in our messaging about what's happening with it, right? Like we've had low inventory, interest rates were high, now they're not so much. Like we have to be so in tune with what our clients are saying and what they're feeling, what they're thinking. We only know that if we talk to them. So that's where we can stay consistent in the real estate business, that's staying in communication with our people. Now, when thinking about how I've been flexible, you know, we got to the middle of this past year and we weren't anywhere near what we thought our goal was going to be. And team members were saying, and the ones, of course, I care about them and I care about their feelings and how, you know, I know they're doing the work and they weren't seeing the same results and they were beating themselves up. I said, scratch it. Let's reset. Let's refocus. Let's breathe. Because every time they were seeing this goal that they weren't hitting, how were they feeling about themselves?
Well, not good.
Pretty cruddy.
Yeah.
And that's not our team culture. Our team culture is all in, have fun. You know, we actually have a motto. It's help more, give back, have fun, live large. And so if we're going to be, you know, focused on achieving that motto with our people, then we have to be flexible. You know, this is something I want to share that I think is really important when it comes to reflecting and resetting is, you know, in the one thing, James, on page 114, there's those 7 circles.
Yes.
I just did an exercise. Jay Papasan put it on at Keller Leadership Academy, Keller Williams Leadership Academy. And he said to take each of those circles. Now, this is a great thing for you guys to do over the next couple of weeks. Rate yourself from 1 to 10 inside of each of those circles. How are you doing right now? And be really honest with yourself. First, give yourself a pat on the back because you're probably not going to say a 0 or a 1. You're probably going to say a 6 or a 7 or an 8 because you know that there's more in you. So really acknowledge like, well, I'm a 6 and this is what I've done so far to grow in that area. But I do have a goal to improve as most of us do. So what can you do to get that 6 up to a 7 or up to an 8, whatever you desire it to be? And now that is what goes into your 411, into your GPS that helps you map out your annual plan. So that is a way to also reset, reflect, and be flexible.
Okay, but I want to ask you a question. This is not one we prepared for, but I think you can handle it. There is a mindset out there, and coaches will tell you this, and I was one of the people that used to say this. The goal never changes. You set the goal in January, it doesn't change. You just push through. Your result is a response of your activities, which that is true. And yet, come on, Jenny, we get to the middle of the year and what you intended was not happening for multiple reasons, not because of anyone's fault. So tell me about the mental ability it takes to go, nope, we're just going to reset. We are going to scrap and have a different look about what it means to win this year.
Well, first off, the number one thing for us to be successful in this business is our mindset. And if our mindset and our limiting beliefs are not positive and purposeful and putting us into a place where we feel productive and excited to talk to people, what are we going to do?
And we're not going to talk to people or feel good or be happy.
We're going to shut down and we're not going to do anything.
Right.
So for me, it is, I get to decide what kind of leader I want to be. If you're a solo agent, you are the leader of yourself. It all starts with self-leadership and you get to talk to yourself sweetly, appreciate where you've come from, and then know what your goal is. But listen, you got to know why that's your goal. I hear you guys sometimes, and I've talked to you guys sometimes, you know, if I'm saying this, I just had a convo with you yesterday. There is no reason for you to set a really big goal for production based on somebody else's goal, somebody else's dream. Because here's the deal. If you don't know why you want that number, what those dollars will do for you or your life or your community, then you're going to fail and you're going to feel miserable. So set the goal for you. How much do you financially really need to make? And that's where I am with my team. I choose to be the kind of leader that is authentic, that is transparent, that is vulnerable, that is real. And that may not be all leaders, but that's who that may not be.
Hold on one second. All right, keep going.
Well, I was just going to say, I saw the gap in the gain in the chat there. And that, James, I told you to your face that I'd had a lot of gap thinking this past
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah. Well, both of us did.
I know a lot of us did.
Mm-hmm.
But continuing to learn and grow, whether it's in your leadership or your business or your personal life or putting your mask on first and taking care of yourself, like that is how we can take that gap thinking and pop it right out real fast and move on to more productive thoughts.
It's easy in a market like this where it was just didn't necessarily go the way we thought it would go to go back and look at all the stuff that didn't work out instead of looking at the progress we made, which kind of leads to the next point, which is this reflect and reset. And again, I got my little screen. This is number 4. So the number 4 way to fine tune your focus is reflect and reset. Reflect and reset is the number 4 way to fine tune your focus. And so Jenny, tell me what that looks like for you.
Well, you could imagine, James, we're pretty purposeful on our team of planning ahead. And so we've already met as a team. We already, built out our team GPS, the personal GPSs that fill up our individual plans. And sometimes those don't go as we plan. So every team meeting, we know where we are in relation to the bigger goals. So we're taking little bites and baby steps along the way. And then we definitely take a mid-year break. Sometimes it needs to be quarterly. I think it could be super duper, could be quarterly. We used to do it that way. We have a bigger meeting where we go, all right, let's reflect and reset and keep tweaking along the way for each quarter. But the big event that we have as a team, it's a full day at my house or at an event space where we no work, all thinking, and we really here are the questions that we ask ourselves. We reflect on our successes, on how we lived out our mission, on the people that we've served, on the good things that we've done in our community. We got to feel good about it, but we also have to review, okay, we said this was our goal. This is where we are. Are we still believing in and committed to that goal, and have conversation around it? And then we reset. We figure out yes, we are. Here's what that looks like. And here's the details. You can have a goal all day long, but if you don't first off know why you want that goal and then set the activities and the actions in place with some accountability, you're not going to get there.
Yeah. That's so good. By the way, we're going to send all this out to everybody. Everyone who's registered for this class is going to get an email with these 7 tips along with some bonus pieces in there to help you out. And we'll also post everything at jamesdshaw.com so you have access to it. But I think you're exactly right to reflect on where you've been. Here's another way you reflect is I'd do an analysis of the business and do some year-over-year comparison, but I'd do it a little bit differently this year. I would take 2023 and I would compare it to 2019. I would take your this is 2023 is your first real post-pandemic year. So I would take 2023 and I'd compare it to the last pre-pandemic year and do a year-over-year analysis to that. Take 20, 21, and 22 and just put them over to the side and do a year-over-year comparison to 19 and 23. Jenny, we did this for you and went and looked at the stuff, and your 2019, if you went from 2019 into 2023, in other words, if the other 3 years never happened, I think you'd actually be pretty pleased with the progress you had made from 19 to 23. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I've made more money and been more profitable.
Yes, right. But when we put those pandemic years in there, where interest rates were 2.5%, I heard a guy on a call yesterday talk about he got an interest rate locked in at 2.25% for 20 years, and it's that doesn't exist now. It won't ever exist again. It was a luck in the moment sort of thing that he fell into. So that's gone. The inventory, while it's still low, is not at the historical lows where we're getting 60 and 70 offers anymore like we were getting back then. It's that pandemic market just really messed up the way we looked at the numbers. And people go back, and we were looking at yours, and people go back and look at their best GCI was in 2021 or probably 2021, their best GCI year, their best volume year. Might have been then, or definitely their best unit year. They took their most listings, whatever, but it wasn't normal. It just was the market of the moment. If we're going to do a comparison, here's what you do. You can go into, do you all know about mykw.kw.com? If you're a KW agent, you go to mykw.kw.com, you use your command login. It's exactly the same. So mykw.kw.com. your command login, click reports, and you can download your agent multi-year trend. And it will give you every category that'll tell you. And I want you to just take the 19 and 23 and compare those year over year as a way just to reflect on the business. Now, it's important, I think, Jenny, that we don't get too excitable either way about what we learn from that we don't get too depressed or too excited about it. It's just data. It's just stuff that can help us. But how do you use that kind of stuff to get an idea of what's going on in your business?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm just going to be a systems and models gal. So I just base our business on our database, our Met database, being consistent in the messaging to them, the touches to them. James, because of you, I must say you're probably one of my defining moments when you were my bold coach in 2015, and then you asked me to be on stage with you in 2016 when you shared for all of our closest, 400 friends at the family reunion stage that I was not properly maximizing the database that I had.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's okay now. I forgive you. And so what we talk about, and I teach this, and I know you do as well, is what's the value of your database? What's it cost you to not lead generate every day? And so whenever we're looking at trends, James, we want to see like, okay, what is our database ROI each year? Okay, if we get to help 100 families this year, woohoo! Praise baby Jesus. We're going to get there. And if that's our number, how many came from our database?
Right.
Well, we're about 45%. So if I know that number, then I can love on our people more. We can have more touches and love, etc.
That's good. That's a great share. Next thing I do when it comes to this kind of, which one are we at? Yeah, reflect and reset, is to now think about the upcoming year. John Acuff taught us this. We're going to replay this session I had with John. We did it a year ago, but it's still valid, and we're going to replay it inside of Pivot next week, but we're also going to include a link to it in the recap email that all of you are getting. But I interviewed him and talked about how you goal plan for the upcoming year, and he said it's 4 steps. It's dream, plan, do, review. Write it down. Dream, plan, do, and review. And dream is, what resonates with you, what's important to you, what is it that, be self-aware about what excites you. That's the dream part, and dream real big. And then 2 is plan. All right, so what must happen for me to accomplish the goal? Kind of like what you just talked about. Number 3 is do. This is when you take action on the goals that you've said. But number 4 is review. And he says, be deliberate and data-based. Look at your goals, results, time, and lessons, and know that it can take bravery to be willing to do that, and it can be uncomfortable. But I remember him saying that you know the least about your goal for the upcoming year today. You know the least about your goal today. In fact, you know a lot more about your 2023 goal today than you did a year ago. But you know the least about 2024's goal today than you will a year from now. So be willing to go back and reflect and review and see, do you need to change anything? Last is pay attention to what's going on. That's the best way to learn. Like I said, we'll include the Acuff video. All right, that's the first half, Jenny. That is kind of the year-end reflection. And so now we're going to get into the year ahead preparation, which is points 5, 6, and 7. So to review, the year ahead reflection, number 1 was tackle housekeeping tasks from the bottom of your to-do list. Number 2 is map out your content calendar. And number 3 was get into a flexible mindset. And number 4 was reflect and reset. So let's do number 5. Number 5, oh, I love this one. We had Ben Hardy on recently. I know you're a fan of him too. And Ben Hardy talks about this a lot. Lessons learned, right? Avoid repeating mistakes. Avoid repeating past failures. Ben Hardy says all lessons will be repeated until learned. So let's talk about that, because if you didn't get the results you wanted this year, instead of complaining about the market, change your approach or think about a different result you want to get this year. So Jenny, talk about how you guys do that on your team.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know that we always start by thinking and dreaming really big. We need to look at not just this 2024, but where do we want to be later on in life? And so I'm always going to encourage everyone to dream big. Now, just go pull out your One Thing book, and that will help you practice the goal setting to the now exercise. Use those 7 circles in all the areas of your life, because you have to dream really big and then chunk it down into today. Now, I've got to know why I want that. Why do I want that goal in the health category of my life? Well, you know what? I want to be around for my daughter. I want to put some emotion and feeling behind the reasons, because if not, then I'm not going to show up. I tend to, I don't know if you guys do this, but I tend to let myself off the hook. I have really great intentions sometimes. And if I don't tell anybody about those goals, then nobody's got to know. And I
Mm-hmm.
can just go through life with status quo. And I've decided that I don't want that life anymore. I
Right.
used to have it. And that's why I love sharing with you guys. We got to also celebrate along the way.
Mm-hmm.
This life is short, you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more to life than a transaction. But this is a beautiful life when we get to help a lot of families.
Yeah.
We get to help them through these life events that are some so happy and some not happy.
Yeah.
And that is our job. And we avoid repeating failures by being very self-aware.
We can learn from others. So we don't have to let our own lessons teach us. We can learn the lessons from others or the lessons that show up around us. And in Quantum Leap, you're a QL instructor for KWKC. I guess technically I am as well, although I've never taught one. But in QL, Gary teaches us that we tend to divide life into these 3 chunks, and the first part of your life is the learning part, and the middle part is the working part, and the last part of your life is the living part. And if you think about that, right, you go to school until you're in your 20s, then you go get a job until you're in your 60s or 70s, and then you retire and go live until you're not here anymore. The problem is we're placing a wager on something that we don't know if we can win, and it's important to sprinkle. We always should be learning. Learning doesn't end at 21. We're always learning, which is why you're here. We're going to work, right? Because we want to fund our life. So we're going to work, but we got to live too. And it's important to sprinkle that in. I think if you think about it, it was a big deal for both of our families to choose to take 20 days to step away. And by the way, if you've never vacationed with a friend, you totally should, because it's like family. You have a great time and you get mad at each other and you have great experiences and you have a ton of fun and it's awesome. And I'd want to go on vacation with the Wolek family again. But you have to work hard to be able to pull that off. You've got to learn in order to work at the level that you're working, but then you had to step away too. We just talk about how valuable that 20-something days was that you and Chris and Mia and our families, along with the Stars and Leah's family and everybody, we got away.
Yeah. I mean, you said it exactly right. We have to always be learning, earning, and playing all the time. And we're going to talk about this as we map out what our weekly calendar should look like. And it's just always making sure that we're putting our mask on first, James. How many times do we hear that through our travels, right? We got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And when it comes to just this conversation about past failures, a past failure that I have is because I was insecure in standing up for myself or believing in myself, or I hadn't taken the time to learn the skills to ask the right questions to qualify people. I actually, working through this, remembered a story one time on Christmas Eve. I had some people call me to go look at a house. The time was exactly when my family was getting together, out of town family, all my siblings and parents. And I jumped because of the price point of this property. And I didn't do any pre-qualification. I went to the property. It was cold. It was far away. It was with people that I hardly knew, friends of friends. And then as I'm there, I am discovering through my question asking that they're probably not even moving here.
Mm.
And I remember driving home so mad at myself. Those are the kind of failures that use mine instead of having your own, because I was so mad. I left my family, the people I love more than anyone else on a special holiday and for no reason. No dollar amount is worth this.
Yeah.
Now, just up your skills and your conversation so I would have known better in advance. That's just my
It's a
James.
great share. And it's, again, all lessons will be repeated until learned. So hopefully you had to do that only one time. I want to add something too from Ben Hardy, and he did a call with our Inspire community that was so amazing and over the top. And he said in here in that call, he said, get clear on what you want your future to be, and then let your future dictate your strategy. And that's taking the lessons. Know where you're going, and then that dictates what you're going to do. All right, let's go to number 6.
Okay.
Number 6, which is, we kind of started talking about number 6 in this, Jenny, but let's talk about it here. Number 6 is schedule time for yourself. Take time off. Too many of us in this business are work. It's about time blocking. It's about knowing that it's no one's going to care about how many homes you sold. Jenny, you're the one who taught us Jordan Fried's 137. So let's talk about that. Some thoughts around taking time off.
Well, I'll hop into Jordan's lessons in a minute, but first I just want to share, I'm a mom, and I know many of you are parents or have loved ones that you care about. And my daughter is now 16 years old. I've been in real estate for 22 years. So she has only known life with mom as a realtor. And thank goodness I learned the lessons early-ish with her, but I had taken bold. Gosh, James, in 2010 was my first bold. So thank goodness that I learned those lessons about time blocking and having appointments with myself and my family, because I decided early on, I want to take her to school every day and I want to pick her up every day. So for all of her lifetime, she has experienced mom in those time periods, so much so she doesn't want to drive, because she's talked me into convincing me that it's because she loved our time in the car together. But that's another
sweet. Yeah,
that's another story. We'll talk
I think
about.
she's just scared of driving, but that's fine.
That's it. I'll have you can have a coaching call with her. But I block that time. And so think about what's important to you, which is maybe family or just time off and quality time with yourself and all that, and block it. And it's called an appointment. It is called an appointment. So many of us receive that phone call, this sign call, this come list me, whatever this urgent need is, and we drop all things to run out the door because we're so dang excited.
Yeah.
And the truth is, though, if we already had our calendar blocked for when we have time slots available, we come at it from a proactive approach.
Yeah.
So what Jordan teaches, let's say that you're a typical real estate agent, you probably could work 7 days a week. And so Jordan teaches us to take 1 day off a week. That means you are resetting and reflecting and taking a breath and taking some time for yourself. That's the 1. Then we go to 3. That means a 3-day weekend once a month. We'll see. What's really cool is the calendar just helps us out a lot of times. There's those 3-day weekend holidays that we're just automatically going to be able to take that time off, which is great. Just block it out now. James, I'm so excited. I have my 2024 calendar and I've already been mapping out all of the time I'm taking off. That's so much fun. Now the 7, I think this one puts people in a little bit of like, they start shaking. Right. They start shaking at the 7, because the 7 would be a 7-day vacation disconnect once a quarter. Okay, that could be excessive if you're not used to that. So we like to baby step things. So maybe it's a 4 or 5 days. It's just something intentional. It's a staycation. It's really just allowing yourself to disconnect. Something, Jordan, that he shared, and this hasn't made its way, I'm going to make sure you guys know it now, is he adds in a W squared. A W squared. He calls that Wellness Wednesday. Now, what that means is that, dang, sometimes this work week is pretty tough. We're going to take a midweek break. Now, this could just be, for me, it's time blocked on my calendar before I pick up Mia. So around 2 o'clock, I might go get a mani-pedi. I might go get a massage. I am going to disconnect and take care of myself, a midweek reset. So I already mapped out. I got on the internet, James, and I went to my local spa place and put all of my massages for every single month on my calendar for next year. I don't want to forget that midweek reset. It's so important.
That's really good. Put it in the calendar now. See, it's December 19th or 20th or whatever day you're watching this. Go in the calendar now And again, it's in pencil, but what's the day off during the week that what day is your day? And it doesn't matter to me what day it is, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, I don't care. What is your day? Put in the calendar. Most months gift you a 3-day weekend. So you can choose to observe that 3-day weekend in your family, or you can pick a different one if based on whatever's going on in the world doesn't work for you, and then go in and map off those 5 or 6 or 7 days off per quarter. And look, I look at it, and Naomi is going to be 12. Mia's just turned 16. You watch these ladies grow up, and Mia's got a couple of more years, and then she's going to go to college, and your world gets different. And I've got a kid who's in 6th grade, and it's just weird. And you start to see we're like this halfway point, right, or past halfway point, where she's going to finish up school and who knows what. I want that time with them. Like, I want to go and do these little trips and things, and I think we've got to get them in. But the reason why real estate agents don't go on vacation is because they say they don't have the time. And the reason they say they don't have the time is because they didn't put it in first. Put it in first. Put it in first. That's what we did last year, and it worked. Do it. All right, that's oh wait, there's more to this. I'm sorry. Me time. See, when you get Vicky involved, she's going to go do research, Jenny. So what does she do? She reads Harvard Business Review and Forbes. That's what happens with Vicky, Harvard Business Review and Forbes. And she said, schedule time on your calendar where you can get away free from distraction. Give yourself permission to take care of yourself now rather than waiting until you're less busy. And define both what you want and what you need when it comes to taking care of yourself. And we'll include a link to this Harvard Business Review article in the follow-up email, but it's just important that you're prepared. Now, balance work and play. You talked about this inside your Facebook group about balancing work and play?
Yeah, I mean, I learned this from a coach so many
Oh,
years
by the way, that's number 7. I forgot. I got to put the slide up or I'll get in trouble.
Okay.
Number 7 is balance work and play. There we go. Counterbalance work and play. That's number 7. I got excitable, Jenny. But you talked about this in your group. Go ahead.
Yeah, I learned this from a coach years ago, because every time we get to this like kind of wonky time of year where there's holidays, kids out of school, things going on. And so we just got really clear. So we just say it every time, like the team meetings before leading into holiday season, we say, let's get really clear. And there's 3 different categories of how we're going to work over the next few weeks. Okay. First, focus, full on focus. I am all in. I am working all day. I'm doing my full job description. That is number 1. Define which day is which. Full on focus. Then you may have some flex days. Flex is number 2. Flex means, okay, this is my life right now, James. Mia has 2 finals all this week. That's it. She doesn't go to school otherwise. Well, I've got my kid home. I love her. So I have morning of focus work time, and my afternoon is flex. So that's a flex day, because I'm going to go out with her and do some holiday shopping or get her some lunch or do things because I love her. Then we're going to have the third F is full on family fun time. This is no work. I might respond to things here and there, but I'm not going to be held accountable to getting in contacts or doing my job. So those are the 3 things. I want to just trickle back a minute to the other way that I build my calendar, James, is based on the energy plan. It's at the back of the red book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, page 308. My morning and time and days are time blocked based on that energy plan. And guess what? I have a lot of energy for life and for doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I've taken care of myself. And I want to add one more thing. When it comes to the self-care conversation, I know so many of you are so busy and you are so giving and loving and caring that you a lot of times may put other people first.
Yep.
Well, here's the truth. They need you healthy.
Yeah.
You exercising, eating right, getting a good night's sleep, not stressing, having, breathing, drinking water, proper nutrition. These things matter. They need you alive.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, you have to be your own advocate for this stuff. You've got to take care of balancing your day, about putting the right things in it. There's a Forbes article that we'll post at jamesdshaw.com and send everyone who's registered in the email that says the greatest wealth you can build is your discretionary time. The greatest wealth you can build is your discretionary time. Now, I want you to notice, never on here did we get on and say, get up every day at 5 a.m., do a 2-minute ice bath, journal for 25 minutes, and do 78 push-ups, or you are a loser. We didn't say that here at all.
Yeah.
We said, take time to rest, take time to relax, take time to reflect, take care of you, manage you first, and the rest of itself will work itself out. But if you are stressed, if you are anxious, if you are struggling, you cannot possibly show up in a way that's going to get you to do the things you need to do to hit your goals. And so we've got to take care of us and counterbalance that discretionary time. Jenny, this was good. Let's recap, and I know Vicky will put them in the chat too, but let's recap what we covered for everybody today on these things. Number one was tackle housekeeping tasks at the bottom of your to-do list. I'm going to clean my closet on Thursday. That was mine. I forget what Jenny said she was going to do, but something important. Number two is map out your content calendar so you can get a plan as to what you're going to look at for the next year. Number three was get into a flexible mindset, especially about the market and what we're in. Number four was, Vicky, what was number four? I lost my paper.
Reflect and reset.
Reflect and reset. Yeah, number four was reflect and reset. That's when we said compare 2019 to 2023 instead of getting wrapped up in those pandemic years. Number five, avoid repeating past failures. Go and learn the lessons that you've learned from the market. Number six, schedule time for yourself. And number seven, balance work and play. Jenny, final thoughts that you want to share before we roll out?
Oh man, I just think that we have to be so clear on why we're doing this business. Our mission statement can feel really overwhelming. And I think if it's just thinking through and thinking about what am I naturally good at? My mom would say I'm awesome at this thing. And then what do I just have a passion for? Whether it's a group of people or teaching, like what am I passionate about? And we combine those together, that points you in the right direction of where you need to be in this business. Here's the deal is you don't have to build a big team or sell a lot of houses. You just need to live your best life.
Yep.
So many times we are comparing ourselves to others, and that is the surefire way to feel defeated, to feel down, to feel depressed. And I choose to bless and release that thought. I am going to allow that negativity to come in for half a second and it gets kicked out ASAP. I appreciate you guys letting me do what I love. I do.
Same here. And my advice, relax. Just relax and enjoy. You know what you've got to do to show up in your business. Make the decision to show up and do it. You know what you got to do to have successful relationships. Show up and do those things. Take care of you, but just relax. It's just a house, right? So go have fun. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Jenny, thank you. We'll see you all inside of Pivot Shift Ahead and Your Journey with Jenny, which is Jenny's Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, you should join it too. Inspire members, we'll see you on Inspire calls. If you're in Jenny's Momentum group, she'll see you in there. We love you all. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
James.